Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
Hey there, thank you for joining me for another episode of the Membership Guys podcast with me, Mike Morrison, your host for the show in which we talk all things membership website related. Everything from planning to starting, creating, launching, running and growing a successful membership website. In today's episode, we're talking about ways in which you can keep your members around for longer. Now, of course, there's all sorts of things you can do with onboarding, member engagement strategies, and all that sort of stuff that can help get people hooked and help get people staying around with your membership site for months and months and years to come. But in this episode, I just wanted to focus on three core techniques, three core things that you can do in order to hook people in and get them to stay longer as a member. So the first thing you can do is give people something that they'll miss. Now, most membership sites that we talk about here on the podcast are either e-learning, community, or a combination of both. So when people leave a membership site, everybody who leaves a membership site loses access. Now, that for some people is enough of a motivator, but if you can give people something more tangible, something more significant that they'll miss or lose access to or no longer be able to get the latest version of should they leave, then that's even more of a hook. It's even more motivation and incentive to stay a member. So this could be a specific tool, or a piece of software, maybe it's a template or a piece of technology that someone only has access to as a member of your site. So in addition to content, in addition to community, they have something which will either no longer function if they cancel their membership, or it'll function but they'll lose out on future updates, so they're no longer going to be ahead of the curve or up to date. If you can do that, if you can give someone something significant that they lose access to if they cancel, then that can be enough to sway people's decision, to give them a greater incentive to stick around, to perhaps give them that bit of motivation to reinvest themselves into consuming content, into participating in your membership site if they've started to flag or if they start to slip away. So that's the first technique. Give your members something significant and tangible that they'll lose out on, that they'll miss if they leave your membership site. The second is to utilize drip-fed or series-based content. So again, it's a little bit of a fine balance because I'm not the biggest fan of forcing this sort of ongoing membership. I don't like seeing drip-fed content used purely as an excuse for prolonging the commercial relationship. And that's mainly because I don't really think it's responsible as a membership site owner to hamper the progress of your members purely because you want to squeeze a few extra months worth of payments out of them. But if it makes sense to do it in terms of an educational method, so it makes sense to give people one part at a time or to release your content as a series rather than just everything all at once, then the added benefit of that is that you get to prolong your members' life cycle. So in the right sort of circumstances, using drip feeding for your content where you're releasing it in chunks over time can be a great way of keeping members around for longer, because obviously if somebody starts a course and they are invested, they are interested in it, then they'll know that if they no longer continue to be a member, they're going to miss out on the next few pieces, or they're going to miss out on the next installment in that series of content. So drip-fed or series-based content, that's a second way in which you can keep members around for longer. Third and final is to get your members involved in the community. So when we talked about giving people something tangible, something significant that they'll miss, obviously we're talking software, we're talking templates and so on. But actually, if you can get people invested in the community, if you can get people building relationships, building connections, getting themselves known, making friends within a community of people who have similar interests, who are on a similar journey, then that can be even more powerful than just having access to a big shiny object or just having access to content. The rule of thumb typically goes that people will join a membership site for the content, but they'll stay for the community. So if you don't already have a community element to your membership site, then implementing one is a great way of prolonging your member lifecycle and making your membership part of your members' routine, making it a vital part of their day-to-day. Because if that member then decides to leave, they're not just leaving stuff. They're not just losing access to stuff. They're losing access to people. They're losing access to relationships. They're losing access to connections. So a community is such a powerful element to have within your membership site. And it's a great thing to have anyway, not just as a mechanism for prolonging member lifecycle, but just because it brings so many of the benefits to the table. Having all your members together in a space where they can talk, where they can brainstorm, where they can share ideas, where they can help each other out, and of course, where they can interact with you as well. So if you don't have a community, adding one is a great way of keeping members around for longer. And if you do, make sure you're utilizing it in such a way that actually encourages relationships and that is beneficial and rewarding to your members. The better your community is, the stronger the relationships are, the more rewarding it is to a member, the less likely they are to leave your membership site and leave all of that behind. So that's just 3 ways in which you can keep your members around for longer. Give them something significant or substantial that they miss that isn't just access to content. Look at implementing drip-fed or series-based content. If it's suitable to the topic that you're teaching, then this can be a great way of making sure your members don't want to miss out on the next stage of what they're learning. And then finally, make sure that you have a community element to your membership site, because that's going to be the sort of thing that can lead to members sticking around for years and years. So hopefully that's given you a little bit of food for thought. Hopefully it may have given you even an idea or two for what you can add or what you can change in your membership site in order to increase your member life cycle and ensure that anyone joining your site sticks around for a long, long time. That's it from me for another episode. I'll be back very soon with another installment of the Membership Guys podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out the membersiteacademy.com. The Membersite Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. So whether you're still figuring out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Membersite Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks and tools, and a supportive community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement and advice, the Membersite Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage and grow a successful membership website. So check it out at membersiteacademy.com.